Hey football fans and sports enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling one of the most tantalizing questions in the NFL. What's next for Aaron Rodgers? After a tumultuous stint with the New York Jets, where the phrase, moving in a different direction at quarterback, ended up being as ironic as it was painful, the future of this once revered NFL star is now up for debate. The end of an era in New York. Let's set the stage. Remember those early moments when the Jets had sky-high hopes for Rodgers? The promise of ending the longest playoff drought in the NFL. Of turning around a franchise plagued by narratives of incompetence and missed opportunities. Those were the days. But fate, and an Achilles tendon injury just 4 plays into his Jets debut during the 2023 season, had other plans. What should have been a renaissance for the Jets ended up as a harbinger of doom. With Rodgers' injury slicing through the Jets' grand designs like a hot knife through butter. The Jets' breakup statement, "Our intention was to move in a different direction at quarterback," was, perhaps unintentionally, a cruel reminder that the franchise's ambitions were derailed by more than just an injury. It was a statement that echoed the collapse of New York's hopes for a turnaround. Not only was the playoff drought destined to continue, but Rodgers' once promising opportunity to reinvent his Hall of Fame career also went up in smoke. Rodgers' stats and the harsh reality. If numbers could tell the whole story, they'd be screaming. In 2024, Rodgers played all 17 games, thrown for 3.897 yards and 28 touchdowns. Sounds impressive, right? But dig a little deeper, and you find that these numbers were recorded in the context of one of his worst seasons statistically. Seasons where every yard and every touchdown felt like a desperate effort to salvage a sinking ship. The Jets went 5-12 under his leadership. And it wasn't just the win-loss record that hurt, it was the missed opportunity to reshape the narrative around his legendary career. At 41, Rodgers has already defied the odds more than most quarterbacks ever will. Tom Brady may have redefined longevity. But the harsh truth remains. Most QBs see their performance decline in their late 30s. Rodgers' impressive longevity is a double-edged sword. It's both a testament to his skill and a glaring reminder that time, and injuries, wait for no one. What are the options? So, what does a 41-year-old quarterback with a recent history of significant injury do when his star begins to fade? Let's break down the possibilities, shall we? 1. A starting job. For starters, pun absolutely intended, there are several teams still in the market for a quarterback. The Titans, Browns, Giants, Raiders, and yes, even the Jets themselves, all have needs at the position. Each of these teams holds a top draft pick in April, where 2 high-profile prospects, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, are expected to go early. Unfortunately for Rodgers and the Jets, the odds are stacked against him landing a starting role with a team that expects to grab a young, promising quarterback off the board. Only 2 of these teams might be left as viable options, maybe even 3 if you count the Steelers, who are currently without a quarterback under contract for 2025 after experimenting with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And if the Jaguars manage to move on from Trevor Lawrence, that's another possibility. But let's be real, landing a starting job in the current NFL landscape is a long shot for Rodgers. 2. A bridge job. What about a bridge job? Picture this. A team in a transitional phase, high in the draft, realizes that their top quarterback prospect isn't quite ready to shoulder the NFL's brutal expectations. Enter Aaron Rodgers, offering his veteran presence as a stopgap solution. It worked for Patrick Mahomes in a different context, and some teams might be tempted to use Rodgers as a bridge while they groom their young talent. Rumor has it that the 49ers have toyed with the idea of giving Rodgers a farewell tour in California. Although public support for Brock Purdy's extension suggests that the 49ers are not desperate for a change at QB, the idea of Rodgers serving as a short-term fix is still out there. Another intriguing possibility is the Minnesota Vikings. Imagine Rodgers following in the footsteps of his Green Bay predecessor, winning MVPs and a Lombardi, then spending a season with the Jets before landing in Minnesota. The Vikings, with J.J. McCarthy ready to take on the spotlight after an injury-plagued rookie season, might see Rodgers as the perfect mentor to guide their young QB to greatness. But would Rodgers want such a role? That remains the million-dollar question. 3. A backup role. Then there's the option of a backup role. Let's face it, regardless of where Rodgers goes, his hefty salary and reputation mean he'll expect starting reps if he's on the field. Would any team be willing to pay him top dollar just to have him on the bench? Holding a clipboard and occasionally warming up? Unlikely. Rodgers has always been a competitor, and settling for a backup job doesn't seem to match his competitive spirit or his desire to be the primary playmaker. 4. No NFL job at all. Finally, we have the possibility that Rodgers might decide that it's time to hang up his cleats for good. At 41, with a long career behind him and a body that has taken more than its fair share of punishment, the allure of retirement is stronger than ever. Rodgers himself has hinted that he might be nearing the end of the road. It's been a long career. He admitted before the Jets' final game of 2024, "I'm really proud of what I've been a part of, and I'm also looking forward to a nice mental and physical rest." After years of battling injuries, controversies, and intense scrutiny, walking away from the game might be the most appealing option. 5. A career in broadcasting or podcasting. And then there's a non-traditional path, the podcast job. Over the past few years, Rodgers has emerged as one of the NFL's most outspoken personalities, frequently appearing on shows like Pat McAfee's and sharing his unfiltered opinions on everything from politics to sports media. With his razor-sharp wit and a wealth of stories from 2 decades in the league, Rodgers could easily transition into a career behind the mic. This wouldn't be the typical play-by-play commentary role. Imagine a podcast where Rodgers is free to delve into every topic that fascinates him. Given his knack for stirring controversy and keeping fans engaged, it might just be the perfect fit for a man who's always been as much a media personality as he has been a football player. The final verdict: a must-watch transition. So, what's next for Aaron Rodgers? The answer isn't clear-cut, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Whether he lands a starting job with a struggling franchise, takes on a bridge role to mentor a young quarterback, accepts a backup position, decides to retire, or launches a groundbreaking podcast career, one thing is certain: Rodgers remains one of the NFL's most intriguing figures. His next move will not only define the twilight of his playing career but could also reshape how we view quarterback longevity in the modern NFL. In many ways, Rodgers' journey is a microcosm of the larger narrative of football itself, one of relentless competition, reinvention, and the harsh realities of time. For fans, his continued presence on the field, or off it, promises plenty of drama, debate, and, of course, unforgettable moments. Engaging with you. What do you think? Now it's over to you. What do you believe is next for Aaron Rodgers? Is a starting role still within reach? Or will he serve as a bridge for a young, emerging quarterback? Could retirement or a shift to broadcasting be on the horizon? Drop your thoughts, predictions, and wild scenarios in the comments below. We love hearing from our community. After all, it's your passion that keeps this conversation alive. Final thoughts. As we wrap up today's deep dive, one thing remains undeniable: Aaron Rodgers' legacy is far from finished. With a career marked by brilliant highs and challenging lows, his next chapter promises to be as compelling as the rest. Whether you're a die-hard fan, a skeptical critic, or someone who simply enjoys the unpredictable drama of the NFL, Rodgers' future is a story worth watching. If you enjoyed this in-depth analysis and want more insights on the latest NFL developments, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell. Thank you for joining us on this rollercoaster ride through the past, present, and future of Aaron Rodgers. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep the football conversation alive. Thank you for watching, and here's to the next thrilling chapter in Aaron Rodgers' career, wherever it may lead.